Hello again, 7:43. This is Good Morning Britain. Now, Bette Davis, the celebrated star of the silver screen, is in town at the moment, and we were lucky enough to welcome her to our studios here at TVam earlier this week. Over the years, she's made many, many wonderful films. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, All About Eve, now Voyager, Of Human Bondage, The Petrified Forest, and more recently, of course, Death on the Nile. Well, she's also acted with many of those equally legendary figures, Errol Flynn, James Cagney, Humphrey Bogart, and Edward G. Robinson. So, does she ever watch any of her old films? That was Anne's first question.
Well, yes, I see them. They're played very, very often. And sometimes I don't know they're on, and I turn a set on, and I hear a voice, and I say, I guess I'm on. Yes.
You watched Baby Jane recently?
No, I haven't seen her recently. But I shall never forget her. I have deep affection for her. She was quite wonderful.
It was a fantastic part. Some would say a very brave part for you to
Well, not really, because always I insisted on looking the way the character looked. Always. So this wasn't any great departure at all.
Some Hollywood actresses would have given more importance to the way they looked, to looking glamorous, even though they were playing...
Yes, I must say I was the first one that had a scene in the early morning, grease on my face and curlers. Studio was horrified. Well, I believe that was what the screen had to offer, reality. And that's what you do at night. You don't wake up with makeup, etc. in the morning.
I've heard you say that your life has been one long work schedule.
Well, I never said that, but it's true.
Maybe it's been said of you.
No, I have had other things in my life besides that. You know, I had the best of two worlds. My children and the career made it, and by the time my first child was born, I was 39, and the career was made, and I had all the time in the world to be with my daughter. And then eventually, Mr. Merrill and I adopted 2 children. So I had 3 fun people to be with.
It's not easy, though, is it, combining being a very successful person in public life with the sort of qualities that are needed for a good mother and a good wife?
No, it is not easy at all. As a matter of fact, I would spend many, many days with my children, and I had some work coming up. And when I got back to work, it was a holiday. It was easier than bringing up 3 children. No, I think if I, at the usual age, had children, I think it's very possible I would have gone with the children. I don't think my kind of career can be fair to children, but I had really gotten there before I had any.
So you're saying that maybe if you'd had children
earlier,
at 21...
I think I would definitely have gone with the children, and I would be, well, it would have been terrible for me to wonder if I could have done it. That's probably one of the worst things in the world.
So looking back, you've got no regrets?
No, I have none.
None
I have
at all?
none. Tiny little ones, mine, but not any huge regrets, not in that area, no, not at all.
Because you say that you're very happy with your children, but you've had 4 husbands, yes?
Yes.
I mean, are you unhappy that maybe you never...
Yes, I regret that. Yes, that one of the marriages didn't work out. But fame was my enemy. It's a very, very difficult thing. A man will feel that will not get in the way at all when we're married. But it's very difficult, very difficult. And there's no way the famous person as a wife can protect the man. We arrived in England one day, many years ago, on the Queen Elizabeth. A baby and Bette and all these people, and we invited the press to come to the Elizabeth for a press conference right away. And we gave them a lot of time, and we'd come a long way from California. Next morning, headlines. Mr. Davis. Now, Gary Merrill was a very established actor at this time. And they said I had about 10 trunks. And it was all very was just bad. We had been very generous, I felt,
And
to welcome them.
he presumably didn't like being called Mr. Davis.
Well, I didn't like it for him.
No.
No. Of course he didn't. Who does?
It's a massive insult, really, to a man, isn't
Yes, massive insult. And he had a career of his own at that point.
it? So in a way you're saying that a famous woman can't really make a go of marriage.
I think it's extremely difficult. Extremely difficult, and understandably so.
So that's your one niggling regret.
Oh, that is the one large regret, no question.
Oh, well, Bette Davis, what a marvellous... I said it yesterday, I have to repeat myself, I'm afraid. What a marvellous lady, fascinating listening.
Yes, wonderful. She said, "Fame was my enemy."
Great line. There's another
I've
part...
never interviewed anyone who smoked
I'm just
so
going to
much.
ask you that, actually. There's another part in just about an hour, but in 4.5 years, you've spoken to some very famous people. She must rank very near the top.
She is. She must be the most famous person I've ever interviewed. I
Did-
think, in my terms, I think yes, because I suppose apart from, well, it depends what you judge. And if you talk about the Beatles, who I suppose are enormously famous and changed the world and everything, then I suppose Paul McCartney must rate us on the same level. But I don't know. Bette Davis was Hollywood, wasn't she? My mum said to me last night on the phone, she never made a bad film. Never. If you knew it was a Bette Davis film, you knew it was a wonderful film. And I think that's true.
That speaks volumes too, doesn't it,
Yeah.
as well as that wonderful. And as I say, there's another part, another 3 or 4 minutes or so of that interview in just under an hour. If you can stay with us, that's well worth staying around to see.
Yeah, fascinating lady.
Right, 7:50 is the time. Short break. Back with Pop Shots in a couple of minutes.